Yeah, and welcome back to Drawing in the Dark. My name is Levi Smith. This episode number 3, I am joined by a good friend of mine, Kenny Puckett. Say hi, Kenny.
Hi, Kenny. Hello.
And yeah, we're gonna do a thing. We're gonna do a little drawing bit here. I really enjoyed the last episode I did with Kenny, but that got deleted. Yeah. But with Steve, which is another friend of mine, where we were able to kind of just talk through doing, or just kind of like talk through while I'm drawing and stuff, and it seemed to be a lot more interesting than just me mumbling at the screen. So yeah, Kenny, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. I'm supposed to be interesting, huh? I don't know if I can do that.
No, you don't have to be interesting. We just have to be
Ourselves.
Just right. Talk as we do. Yeah. I'm just gonna mess around here with this. Yeah. So anyway, Kenny is the other half of Mop and Bucket Press. It's actually our combined effort here where we're working on all these things: publishing, merchandise, media, content.
Yeah.
I always hated like terms like content and product and unit, and stuff like that. Just in the way, because it like sterilizes it, because really I'm not trying to make content in a generic way,
No.
I'm trying to make comics,
Trying to make comics and do cool videos.
Yeah, we're not trying to like generate units to produce and to sell in a market so much as we're we want to make t-shirts.
Yeah,
we want to make stuff that resonates and connects with people on a human level, not just in that I guess that raw generic business sense, where there's a lot of these terms that like in academic business vernacular, in the lingo, that kind of like have bled over into common usage, So like everywhere I hear, it's always the product, content.
Yeah, the way I think is that we just do stuff that we like, and I think that'll be helps create the best stuff we can do, and hopefully somebody else will like it too.
Right, like we're trying to do, like a lot of it is like the t-shirts and stuff. This is just stuff that we want.
Yeah, I wanted cool t-shirts.
Yeah,
I didn't want to pay $50 for it.
I'm trying to make the comics that I enjoy, or the kind of stuff that I would like to see out there, but don't, kind of thing. I guess that's why and what's obvious by this mess here that I'm creating, is I'm not really like hyper focused on superheroes, or at least maybe I am, but not like 90s superhero like comics.
No, I think comedy industry is kind of going backwards right now, mainly because of the movies, and
right.
Everybody's like, "Oh, these are cool stories," and I'm like, "Yeah, those stories have all been told." And don't get me wrong, I like watching the movies, and I'm excited for the TV shows.
I absolutely love like all the Disney Marvel stuff. Absolutely, and I'm not going to be shy about that. I grew up on that stuff, and I'll always love it. But as far as like doing something, I don't want to do.
That's not what I want to create either.
Yeah, I don't want to do the next Spider-Man. I don't even want to try to get close to doing the next Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Or the next Batman. Because to me, everything, all that stuff just looks like Youngblood to me. Like just this thin copy, change a couple things, move the belt to the other side, put the patches and the straps on and stuff,
Yeah, we're just trying to tell cool, interesting stories.
Yeah,
I think that's what we've always wanted to do, though.
Yeah, cool, interesting stories. Even just for me, like one of the things that I really like about making art, I guess, is drawing stuff that's not really common, or necessarily expected. I don't want to say like things that people haven't seen before, but that is kind of like it is part of the pursuit,
Yeah.
But here we go. This is Rags, my little character here for Sequential Disorder,
which has been coming out regularly and is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't have. There's supposed to be one coming out today. I don't have it done.
For the Patreon, right? Because they get it a week early, right?
Well, frankly, I've fallen behind a bit on it with the demands of life and work and stuff. And so the one that's supposed to be going up publicly today is also the one going up for Patreon, which also is not done.
Oh.
So.
Well, damn. I didn't mean to point out your failures there.
Oh, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, a lot of this is a process, especially while we're building it, you know. And one of the things I think aspiring people, you know, don't necessarily get, you know, is that you've got to learn how to take it easy on yourself. You know, we've been hard on ourselves over this stuff.
Yeah.
For years. And, you know, stunted it, ran it aground, you know.
Yeah, push ourselves and burn ourselves off.
Yeah, yeah. You know, overwhelm ourselves, you know. And also be incredibly impatient with the process too, you know.
Yeah.
Like, well, I've been doing it now for 15 minutes. Why isn't it happening for me?
Why isn't it happening for me? Well, I just I remember realizing that making the deadlines the day before the Comic-Con was an idiotic idea.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's, you know, that's one of those things.
The day we need to put it out is the day we finish it is not.
Yeah. I mean, it's
not a healthy thing.
It's an amateur move, for sure. But then, you know, stuff happens.
Yeah.
And when it's not your primary source of income, then it shouldn't be, I guess, regarded in such a same level of pressure, you know?
I think it should. I think we need to set ourselves deadlines and get things done on time. And if we don't do it, it's understandable.
Right.
And then just move to the next, you know, all right, what's the new deadline?
Yeah.
We still need to have some kind of pressure, but...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not talking about, you know, erasing all of that. But I'm just talking about in a general sense. Sometimes people, you know, tend to put too much of that on themselves. You know, the strip will get done, and it'll make it up by the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, it might be at the end of the day, but it'll make it up.
That might be what you're streaming tonight.
Yeah, possibly. You know, it might be. Might exactly be what I'm streaming tonight, or at least in portion. You know.
Yeah.
You know, the strip might be pretty basic, but even that takes a while.
It does, yeah.
It doesn't just like fall out of the hand.
What was that thing that we said after we printed that first Frankenstein? It was like, man, I bought some expensive comics in my day. Never bought one more expensive than my own.
Oh, for real? Yeah. Well, and that, thankfully, I mean, I think it's a valuable experience, but thankfully, you know, it's not something I think we're ever going to do again, or that people even really need to do.
Yeah.
Is to do a print run like that. You know?
Print and fold and.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the Kinko's experience. I mean, you know, Kickstarter exists now for one thing.
I liked our Kinko experience though.
And,
that was.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that it didn't have its value, you know, and I definitely liked it too.
It was interesting and fun.
But to me, it's like, you know, we're not gonna buy a Xerox copier, you know, those big office ones.
Yeah.
That was a thing that we wanted to do in the past.
Yeah.
You know, in a major way, but that's not something that I think we're ever going to do at this point, and I don't think anybody
you don't need to
really needs to do at this point. You know.
Yeah.
especially, I mean, building an audience now is really an online thing versus, the get out there in a physical sense and hit the shows and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think
not that doesn't work.
There's a little bit of that that needs to be done,
but as far as the scales go, it really is more about that online presence.
It truly is.
And I don't think it's weird. My hand wanted to keep moving the screen. We're getting a little bit of lag. It's and it I don't know. It's an odd sort of thing.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the new Disney Marvel lineup?
I'm excited for those shows.
Yeah.
I mean, adding Miss Marvel and She-Hulk and what was the other one?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
Yes.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. That'll be really cool. I mean, they're rolling it out, man. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, what Disney Plus is crazy. I mean, not just the Marvel stuff with that, the Star Wars stuff they're doing with that.
Obviously, yeah, Mandalorian.
I'm actually kind of really... and Obi-Wan. They're doing an Obi-Wan TV show with Ewan McGregor.
Right, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty badass, too.
I wonder how much Dave Filoni has to do with that. I know he and Jon Favreau wrote the overall arch of the first season of Mandalorian, and they're working together on the second one right now.
Okay.
Filoni's the man.
Yeah.
For anything good Star Wars.
Okay.
He's the guy behind all of the all the computer animated shows.
Those tend to be more well received.
Yeah, he's the guy who was kind of in charge of those overall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now he was, one of the main two guys that were in charge of Mandalorian.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to it because I like his work. I like everything that he's done with.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the animated stuff.
You didn't watch any of the Clone Wars?
No, not really.
Oh, that show
maybe an episode or two.
Like the first, it's just like Rebels, man. Like he had to do when he went over to Disney and did Rebels. It was like, he has to do the kids show, and then every season it just got better and better and better and better.
Right.
And they got less control going on. It has to be kiddie. It has to be for children. And
right.
Every season it got less control over it.
Gotcha.
And so, I mean, it's important to watch those first seasons, but that last season of Clone Wars is ridiculously really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the last 5 seasons are really good.
Yeah, I guess I've never really been like a super hardcore Star Wars fan. I've enjoyed it, but
yeah, I know you're more of a Trek guy.
Definitely.
In which I'm excited about Picard too. Oh
yeah, man. I mean, I love Discovery. I'm really excited about Picard.
Jonathan Frakes is definitely going to be in it. In the show, like he just posted I just read an article about him being nervous returning to the role of Riker.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's kind of nervous to do it.
Right. I mean, some of these roles take on like a mythic kind of, stature that they have to live up to. That's an interesting angle.
Yeah, he says that he's kind of nervous.
What do you think? I guess there's talk about remaking The Last Starfighter.
I don't know. I mean, it's a cool idea, and video games are bigger than they've ever been.
It's a great time to remake it. I think what would be more interesting would not necessarily be a remake, but a continuation.
Like they have been doing with a lot of movies.
I think, and that's a better treatment, as a continuation. So you do the 30 years later kind of Tron thing, and then try to get that original actor, forgive me for not knowing his name, back into the mix, and then recruit someone new, from Earth kind of thing, some online platform game or whatever, that...
They did a variation that was kind of a comedy, and it was kind of Future Man. Future Man? Yeah, it's kind of like a love letter to the 80s.
Oh, okay.
It's ridiculous and dumb, and they ended up breaking into James Cameron's house to get the power source that they need to power their time travel device. Because in the future,
of course, James Cameron would have it.
Well, in the future, James Cameron is much more than just a movie director.
I see.
He's a... They use a bunch of his real world accolades, like deep sea ocean explorer and things like that.
Right.
And then they make up a bunch of stuff like he helped create world peace and did a bunch of other stuff and ended hunger and homelessness and
right.
Created a utopia.
That's cool.
It's actually hilarious. Yeah, no, the Future Man's a cool show. I didn't watch the second season that much, but the first season's ridiculous and stupid and hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one character that comes from the future, like a post-apocalyptic future, and the main character's dad ends up teaching him how to cook, and he just does this crazy food stuff. Goes back to the 80s, creates the most sought after restaurant, and the only way to get a seat is to get kidnapped. You'd be walking down the street and you get kidnapped,
right? And
you'd eat with a bag over your head, and so you didn't know who was there. And some of the biggest stars in the like Julia Roberts is in there. And
oh wow!
They're not in the show, but they say that's who's in the restaurant.
Oh, that's who's
because it's a lady wearing a fancy dress with a bag over her head.
Nice.
So it's kind of ridiculous stuff, but it's. And he's like, I got bored of cooking for the ultra rich. So yeah, it's an interesting show to watch. And that's an Amazon show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, there's a couple of Amazon shows that I've been really enjoying.
Yeah, they've been doing all right.
I like the Tom Clancy show just because I like Tom Clancy story stuff.
Yeah, I don't get much into that,
Yeah, they just do Jack Ryan. They just do a young Jack Ryan.
Right.
But they did this show called Patriot, which is this really interesting, unique show.
Yeah.
It's about a guy who's a spy.
Okay.
And he's good at it, but it just, nothing ever goes the right way.
Nice, yeah.
And he's super depressed because he's been doing all this terrible stuff. And his father is the senator that assigns him jobs.
Oh, wow.
And his brother and his mother and his family don't know exactly what he really does.
Okay.
They just know that he works for their dad.
Right.
And he's going to France to pay off some Middle Eastern guy so he doesn't blow up things, and he ends up getting drunk and loses the money, or no, somebody steals it from him and they don't know what it is. She's stealing it for another reason, and so he keeps trying to get the bag, and then the police arrest the lady and the bag's in evidence,
right,
until she gets out of jail a month later, which is too late.
Huh.
To make the payoff. It's interesting.
So, what are we doing with this Jade Monkey, or not the Jade Monkey thing, the Mop and Bucket thing? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Since we should talk about that. Well, we're getting ready to do the Patreon thing, which I think you've already changed over, right?
Yeah, I've done a lot of changes to the Patreon page. We're getting ready to relaunch that.
I think we're going to do some cool stuff. We got a couple of new really kick-ass t-shirts coming out. The Monkey Skull is one.
That we do.
We got the activity book, which we're getting ready to start talking about that a little bit more. Some details.
We are. Not quite ready. Still working on mastering out the Kickstarter aspect of all that, you know.
Yeah.
Trying to take this seriously, trying not to get ahead of ourselves.
Taking our time. We got our first proof of it, and it looks really good.
You know,
Getting ready to get the final proof.
you know, got some edits in.
So that should be good. And I can't wait until we can really start telling people exactly what's going on with it. You know?
Yeah.
Like real details.
You know, one of the things that I think we definitely are and should be more cautious about is, you know, pushing forward and getting ahead of ourselves on some of this stuff without actually just like having it. You know,
yeah.
I mean, we're excited, and it's, you know, it's like 98%. Well, the activity book is done. You know, we just have to do the Kickstarter thing, so we want to make sure that we're going to do it right. You know?
Yeah. Figuring out all the financials and making sure we don't get screwed over, and we can actually deliver what we say.
Right.
And taking our grandiose ideas and paring them back to more reasonable, obtainable goals.
Right, and actually start, and you know, doing the numbers and looking at things in a realistic way.
Yeah.
And then doing the webcomics, doing the content and stuff.
I got the story stuff, which I know we're not going to go into details, but the story stuff you've been talking about, Sequential Disorder, with that stuff, the direction you're going with that is actually really awesome.
There's going to be, and it's not going to be that far out, where I basically reset Sequential Disorder. And now that I've been doing it for a little while, I have a better idea of how I want to do that, you know. And it's been a while since I've made comics. It's been, you know, putting stuff out on a regular pace is definitely a different dynamic for that sort of thing. And it was really something that I wanted to get more familiar with, simply just by doing it.
Yeah.
Before really trying to, I guess, do something that
revolves around it.
Yeah, or something that like I'm like really super invested in, you know, like one of the babies kind of thing, you know, where and of course, you know, the investment grows the longer you work on something.
Yes.
Just by nature, but to do something that it's like, you know, if this doesn't work out, no big deal. You know, trying to keep it simple, just to try to do the thing, just to try to actually post on a regular basis, try to do the work on a regular basis, figuring out how to work it into the daily schedule, you know, making the time for it, making habits, you know, that begin to lend that time for you, you know.
Well, yeah, we used to call our comic simple, you know, but it was anything but.
Right. Well, we were trying, but you know, some of the other stuff that you know, we're doing, like the little bits of merchandise we talked about, you know, of course our t-shirts and everything, stickers and all that.
There's some posters on the horizon. Nothing concrete yet, but
something we could go do a table at and stuff, you know, and put something on the table.
Yeah.
Make sure that we can.
If you guys would like to see us do something like that, put it in the comments, and we'll take it into account.
For sure. And then, you know, like as they say on all these shows, you know, hit like and subscribe, and you know,
visit
we'll
Mop
be
and
trying
Bucket.
to do these more often. Visit mopandbucketpress.com and check us out on Facebook, on Instagram. Sequential_disorder on Instagram for the strip with this guy right here, Rags, and
it's Mop and Bucket, spelled MOPAND BUCKET
MOUSE.
Yeah. Is our Instagram and Facebook.
Here in this little box up here is my links and stuff. Some of those we've already kind of like read those out to you. This is actually incomplete, and it's got a few typos in there, so please forgive me while I get all this stuff figured out. I'm doing it step by step. This is episode number 3. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys next time. Later.